Hello and welcome to this Yin Yoga practice for the hips and the legs. My name is Devi Daily and welcome to Devi Daily Yoga, where it's not about how your yoga looks, it's all about how it feels. A big part of our flexibility, our mobility in this part of the body is the fascia that weaves through the muscles, that weaves through the joint space, and that really helps our body to hold its shape a little bit better. Fascia needs to be approached differently than muscle with a longer kind of stretch. We are going to be holding these poses for 3 minutes each and doing a 1-minute rest in between each of the poses. And the poses are very relaxed. They're passive poses. We're not going to engage muscles during these poses, and I'll talk a little more about why that is as we get through it. So let's go ahead and get started lying down on the back. As you come onto your back, stretch the legs out long and interlace your fingers, pressing the palms up and away. Take a big inhaling breath. And as you exhale, hug both knees into your chest. Starting out with our first easy stretch just in the back of the body. You could go ahead and rock side to side if it feels good. Feeling into the lower back. Starting to feel into the back of the hips. Inhaling a deep breath here. And as you exhale, extend your left leg long. Just taking a few moments to warm up into the hips. You're going to hug your right knee in toward your chest. Inhaling into the belly and exhaling. And now stretching the right leg long, interlace the fingers, press them up and away. And exhaling, left knee into the chest, hugging the knee in. Deep breath into the belly. And exhale. And now inhaling, stretch the arms up as you stretch the left leg long to meet the right. And now exhaling, bending both knees and bringing the arms back down to your sides. I'm going to take the right knee over the left, just like you're crossing your legs, and draw both legs in toward you. Taking an upside down shoelace pose here, where we hold on to the feet or whatever's available to you here. Now, if this is difficult to reach, you can use a cushion underneath your head, or even a couple of cushions. That'll make your arms go closer to your feet. So this is our first 3-minute hold. And the target area of this stretch is the outer hip on the right leg in particular. So that's your knee that's on the top. That's the hip that we're targeting here. And you can choose if you want to have your legs down toward your hips more so your knees are more bent, or straighter up. See what gives you the best stretch in the outer right hip, in the glutes. Now just take a deep breath in, long breath out. And gravity is doing the work here, so we can just allow the body to relax as much as possible. The arms might be working a bit to give this tension to bring the legs in, but the legs themselves totally relaxed. Deep breath in, let it go. And as you rest, you have an opportunity to draw your mind into a state of stillness and greater calm. Letting the breath help guide you. Easy inhalation, easy exhalation. And slowly releasing, stretching the legs long, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms up and away. And now exhaling as you take both feet to the ground, crossing this time left knee over the right, and taking the legs in, holding on to the feet, finding this external rotation of the legs. And as you gently draw the feet toward you, you're externally rotating the legs even more to create this stretch in your mighty glutes. This time focusing more on the left glutes, left buttock, whatever kind of athletic activity you do, cycling, running, lifting, squatting. You're using your glutes quite a bit, even if walking is what you like to do. Let's take a deep breath in here and exhale. And now slowly releasing, extending the legs long, interlacing the fingers to press the palms up and away. And exhaling, releasing, arms down to your sides, spreading arms and legs out as much as you'd like for this 1 minute of rest. And this is the time when we just feel what's happening in the body as a result of the stretch you just did. Deep breath in. Exhale. And bending the knees, hug the arms around the legs, lift your head up toward your knees, squeeze into a ball, and release your head back down, feet back down. Let's roll to the side and come up to hands and knees. Moving into a lunge, dragon pose. You can use a blanket underneath your knees for cushioning if you'd like, as we take the right knee forward. So this back knee might want some cushioning. And we'll begin in a straight lunge where we keep the hips relatively square, hands on either side of the foot. Yoga blocks could always be used under the hands here if that helps you to be comfortable. The target area of the lunge is the front of the left thigh and the front of the left hip. And so we want to bring the hips down toward the ground more to get this stretch. And you can also see how it feels to lift your chest more, maybe lift your gaze forward. And continue to soften down through the left hip. Breathing into the left hip. And now taking a second variation where instead of squaring the hips, we let the left hip dip down, and you can inch your right foot farther out to the right so there's more space between the left hand and the right foot. And now take this right hand on the knee, let the hip dip down. So we're getting more into the lateral area of the quads. Breathing into this, continuing to let the hips sink down toward the earth. And now our third minute here, option 2, bend the back knee and reach back for dragon's tail pose. Now, if this clasp doesn't happen for you, you can go back to either of the prior variations. If the clasp does happen for you, think about rolling the right shoulder back, lifting the gaze, and finding more opening, almost like you're coming into a back bend, like your head is coming back in space. And this will help stretch the hip flexors and the quads. This variation gets the quads even more deeply. Inhaling wherever you are. Exhaling. And now releasing, taking both hands back to either side of the front foot and tucking the back toes under. Let's step it back into a downward dog position. And in downward dog, walk your legs, bending one knee at a time as you press the opposite heel toward the ground. Starting to feel into the backs of the legs, backs of the calves, and the soles of the feet as you do so. And now dropping the knees, step your left leg forward to come into our straight lunge. Hands on either side of the front foot. And sinking the hips down as you lengthen forward through the chest. Maybe lifting the gaze or looking down, see what feels right on your head and neck. So something about Yin Yoga that's different than a lot of other kinds of yoga and a lot of other kinds of movement is that the form is not so much of an exact thing. There's not an exact place to put your head, your shoulders, your hands, or your legs. It's all about finding, because of your individual anatomy, you might find a different way to stretch into this major part of the body that we're targeting, the front of the hip and the front of the thigh. So taking whatever adjustments you need to. And now we'll take it into this tilted version, walking the left foot out to the side, letting the right hip dip toward the ground. Left hand is on the knee. Getting into the outer right thigh. Inhaling here. And exhaling. And now bending the back knee. Again, this is optional. You could stay in the twist. You could stay in the first or second version. If you're holding the foot, then you're feeling into the front of the quads, rolling the left shoulder back, turning the gaze up, finding this sense of a back bend, and sending the head, the skull back in space. Letting the right hip soften forward, soften toward the earth. Inhale deep and exhale into the stretch. And releasing, framing the front foot with the hands once again, stepping back into downward dog, walking the legs, feeling the two hips now after stretching into dragon pose. And now let's drop the knees down, taking child's pose for our 1 minute rest. In child's pose, palms are on the earth, forehead on the earth, hips are moving back toward the heels. And just letting your body be easy here. Feeling the connection of your forehead to the ground. Taking a deep breath into this mighty area of the hips, the thighs, the glutes. And slowly now coming up, sitting over to one side to bring your legs out in front of you, taking half butterfly pose to stretch into the hamstrings. Extend your left leg forward and your right foot comes to your inner upper thigh. And we come forward directly over the leg, or you can choose to angle inside the leg. And the way you'll decide is, what are you feeling in the hamstrings, in the whole back of the left thigh, when you angle yourself one way or the other. Now for this, you could choose to have a cushion underneath your seat, which can really help if you feel like it's hard to get your body forward enough. This will help to tilt your body forward more so that you can get the weight of your upper body into this stretch. And once you've found the position that your body wants to spend some time in, take a deep breath in and exhale, relaxing here, allowing time to do its thing in the midst of this relaxed stretch. There's really not much that you need to do once you arrive here, except to be still. Slowly now rising up and changing sides, right leg forward, left leg bent. Finding the angle that you'd like to come forward toward, maybe over the leg, maybe slightly to the inside of the leg. Again, thinking about where we want to target this stretch, the hamstrings, the back of the thigh. And within that, we can see if we feel like we need more stretching on the inner hamstrings, the inner thigh, or the outer hamstrings, because we have 3 hamstring muscles in the back of each leg. It's not just one muscle. So we can find the stretch that feels best today, and it might be different from day to day. Wherever you have landed, draw the breath in to the whole body. Let it go and soften. Slowly now rising up from half butterfly pose, and make your way all the way down onto your back for a 1-minute rest in any comfortable position. Spread your body out. Meeting the floor with your back body. Deep breath in, long breath out. Bend the knees, hug them in, gently rock side to side. And we're going to move into frog pose. I'm going to give you a couple of choices of how to do it. One of them is the mellowest way, where you find a piece of furniture or a wall where you can prop your feet up And this is not quite wide enough, so I'm gonna find this ledge here. So the feet are wide, the knees are wide, and the stretching target area is the inner thighs, inner groins. This might be something where you wanna scoot closer to the wall or push yourself farther away to find the stretch that feels good. And the probably more intense version is the frog pose on the floor, where we come wide here with the knees. Now your feet could come together as you settle your hips down and bring your body forward, maybe onto the floor, maybe onto a bolster. Forehead on the floor, hands on the floor. Or some people like to be up here on the elbows. And now opening the feet is another option. So you can choose how you want your feet to be, wider or narrower, whichever gives you the stretch that feels right in your inner thighs. And as I take this to the side, you can see the options of having the legs be, or having the hips be farther back from the knees or forward. This is another thing for you to play around with. This pose can be intense on people's knees, the way the inner knees are on the floor, so feel free to pause the video and grab a blanket to put underneath your knees. I like to turn sideways so that I have the cushioning of my yoga mat under my knees. The inner thighs are maybe the most neglected part of the hips when it comes to the day-to-day stretching that people might do. So if this feels like an unusual sensation, just allow yourself to soften into it as much as possible and take a deep breath in to what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, and as you exhale, see if you can soften a little bit more. And slowly now coming up, slowly bringing your legs together and making your way onto your back. We are done with the stretches, and now is time for our Savasana, final relaxation position. And thanking your thighs and your hips for all that they've done. Give a little bit of hand contact to the front of the hips, maybe the insides of the thighs and the outer thighs. Loving up these legs and hips. And then when you're ready, spread your arms out as wide as you'd like. Spread your legs out as wide as you'd like. So that the energy can really flow through the hip joints. Free flow of awareness and sensation between the legs and the torso. And into this free flow of energy and sensation, draw the breath in to the body, into the lower body especially. And exhale, relaxing the lower body, toes, feet. Another deep breath in now to the whole body, upper body, spine, head, legs. Exhale, relaxing the entire body down into the earth. Taking this time to feel the effects of all of this deep stretching, allowing your energetic body to reset, inviting all of the tissues of your body to become rejuvenated, and inviting deeper clarity of the mind. Deep breath in, big breath out. And bending the knees now, hugging them into your chest, gently rocking side to side. Let's roll all the way over onto one side, coming up into a seated position. Make yourself comfortable, cushion under your seat if you need it. Take a few moments with the spine upright. Breathing in and breathing out. And allowing a gentle smile to come onto your face as you bring your palms together in front of your heart. And that is today's session. Thank you so much for joining me. I love to connect with you all in the comments, so if you like this practice, leave me a note below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates about my latest videos. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.